Barbecue Central.
Start the game! Let's go!
We'll do it live. Okay. Well, do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live!
So to get that perfect barbecue, you use wood. Are you sure it's safe? Whatever. We put the lighter fluid on, strike the match, and... Oh! Should we call the fire department? That might be a good idea.
Hey, good evening, and welcome to the really big Barbecue Central show. This show is the show is where we talk. I don't know. This is the show where we talk about all things important in the world of barbecue and grilling. This show originates from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame city, Bomb City, USA, Cleveland, Ohio, the barbecue capital of the North Coast. I am your program host, Greg Rempe. Happy to have you aboard here on your Tuesday evenings, a live fire, fun, and frivolity show. If you would like to get in contact with the show this evening, or better yet, you would like to follow the show during off-show hours, here's how you do all that stuff.
You can get in touch with the show by sending an email to Greg at bbqcentralshow.com. Follow us on all the social media channels at BBQ Central Show. And be sure to subscribe to the show podcast feed on your favorite podcast platform.
Anything else you want to find out about the show can be found at the main website, thebbqcentralshow.com. And here's what's happening this evening. Coming up in about 12 minutes from now, it is a third Tuesday of a month, but we do have a new quarterly guest here. We have a quarterly guest coming in, of course. The creator of Barbecue University, the teacher at Barbecue University, Barbecue Bible, and I believe it's called Project Griddle at this point, Stephen Raichlen, 914. 35 past the first hour, because it is the third Tuesday of a month in that first hour, the creator of cookoutnews.com. Wes Wright joining us. And then we'll move to the second hour. Yes, there will be a second hour this week. And they are also quarterly guests as we wane through the rest of 2025. Susie, and perhaps a visit from Triple T himself, Taste Test Todd, Susie and Todd Bullock. Hey, Grill, hey. So that's how the show's laying out here this evening. Stephen Raichlen, Wes Wright, first hour, and Susie and a Todd Bullock, second hour. Don't forget, you can follow me socially, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Snapchat, LinkedIn, all with the handle at BBQ Central Show. We say good evening to those of you watching tonight through one of our video streaming platforms. You can go to Facebook.com/BBQ Central Show, or you can watch on YouTube, which is YouTube.com/@BBQ Central Show, where we have a new YouTube poll question of the week that we're asking everybody, and it is this: who's older, Joe Flacco or Rusty Monson? And currently 71% of you are saying Joe Flacco. I'm not going to give you the right or wrong answer at this point, because this is one that will need to run its course through the balance of the show. Maybe during Susie and Todd's segment, I might let the cat out of the bag. But currently, 71% of you are saying Joe Flacco older than Rusty Monson, and Rusty getting 29% of the vote. Not too long ago, maybe 5 or 6 votes ago, Rusty was in the lead, but Joe has taken over in quite a command fashion at this point, but we'll see how the rest of the show plays out. Results from the poll question of last week: Sam the Cooking Guy is the best recurring monthly guest on the show. 67% of you are saying yes. Sam the Cooking Guy is the best recurring monthly guest on the show. So, gang, we're going to start here tonight. I mean, what can I say? I've said it many times. I've said it hundreds of times, if not thousands of times here on the show. While I live in a state called Ohio, I live in the state of hypocrisy, and we know this. Why? Because I tell you, week in and week out, my feelings could change on this or that at any given moment. I could be staunchly for this or that. And next week, I am completely against it, throwing myself right under the wheels of the bus, showing that my hypocrisy knows no bounds, and showing that my hypocrisy knows no bounds. I have this for Exhibit A in evidence. Look at this. It's a brand new cat. There he is. And I'm not talking about that pretty young lady holding that cat. Of course, we know that is infrequent host and sometimes guest Maddie May, Rempy, my middle daughter. But there he is, Stan the Man, the Maine Coon. Maddie, how old is Stan the Man?
I think he's...
Whoa.
What is this? What the hell?
Hold on. There's obviously some kind of sound effect going on. I got to figure out what that is. All right, let's try it now.
I think he's 4 months.
There we go. That was very weird. 4 months. And I mean, look, Stan the Man is, they call him a black smoky. And
did you hear him?
We heard him peep just a little bit. Mm-hmm. And you can barely see him. Of course, the microphone hiding him because he's kind of tiny. But even when you hold him up, even under that studio light, you can barely see him at all because he's got that kind of dark fur.
Okay.
He's kicking the microphone. He's really had enough. Oh, who knows where he's going to go from there for the folks that are listening on podcast. He has attached himself to Maddie's right shoulder. So, and you had quite the time with him last night.
Yep.
Where he was blowing diarrhea all over the place.
Yeah, that wasn't
5:30 in the
fun.
morning, right?
Yep. It was loud. Woke me up.
Wow.
You see him back here.
I do. Well, I mean, you can barely see him. So if he would just sit down, he would blend right into the background and you wouldn't notice him at all. You can barely see him moving back there. But there he is. So 4-month-old Stan the Man. I said it many times on this show. I have 4 cats. And as they start passing, we will be starting to work in a much more agreeable number with me, which is less cats. But somehow Becky, my wife, started, I don't even know how Maine Coons found their way onto her Instagram feed. I don't know if she looked for it once or if she saw it on a show. I don't know. But all of a sudden, there was a lot of chatter in the house talking about Maine Coons this and Maine Coons this, that, and can we get a Maine Coon? And look, I said,
Here he is.
just get the cat.
Yep.
And it was, no, can't get the cat. You don't like cats. And what I have said is this. It would be a much different story if we were sans cat. No cats. You going to have to get after him now?
I guess.
All right. There's Maddie, everybody. Thanks for coming, Maddie.
Of course.
If we were sans cat, that means no cat. Not like 3 cats of 4, but 0 out of 0 cats. And then the conversation started coming up. Would like to get a Maine Coon, blah, blah, blah. There he is, Stan the Man right there. I mean, you can barely see him. You can hear him a little bit, but you can barely see him. He's not a very visible cat. And he loves to run under feet, of course, when you're that young and non-visible. The best place to go is right under somebody's feet that can't see you. Steve Ray from Owl's Nest Barbecue. There goes another computer. I mean, so far, so good. He's been very litter box trained by his breeder. Anyway, getting back to my point. If we wouldn't have had any cats, like we had gotten through our cat phase, I believe I would have made a better case for no cats. But it's not like we're going to be out of cats in the next 4 to 5 weeks mean, we have years with the other 3 cats, so to me, like, what's the difference? Do I want another cat? No. I didn't want 4 cats. I didn't want 4 cats the first time. I don't want 4 cats this time, but it doesn't really matter. I am a man on an island in this house, and if women want something in this house, women are going to get something in this house. So what do? We grit and bear it. And so far, Stan the Man is both becoming friends with and becoming mortal enemies with Oliver, better known as Tom, but officially known as Oliver. In the daylight hours, Oliver will hold him down and lick him to death. In the nighttime hours, Oliver goes for his throat. That's going to have to get worked out. We've put more pheromones in the house. Cat pheromones. It's Stan the Man, everybody. Welcome in, Stan. Happy to have you. I just want to see how big he's going to get. And I also want to see him not have explosive diarrhea overnight. Can that happen? Anyway, Steven Raichlen is going to be showing up on this show right now. Before we get to him, we'll talk to you about our pals over at Primo Grills. By the way, last night for dinner, I cooked like 4 pounds of chicken breast. Lots of good protein there. Not a lot of good fat for the macros. Fat! But I supplemented in some avocado, some egg yolks. Everybody's taking a dump on egg yolks. No. Eat the egg whites and the egg yolks for the fat and the nutritional benefits of the yolk. Don't let big food steer you wrong. Anyway, fired up the Primo XL, used some lump charcoal. I think I'm using Royal Oak at the moment. So a Royal Oak if you want to send me a pallet. I cooked the best chicken breast in recent memory. Had everything all offset. So heat deflector on one side, no heat deflector on the other side. Had that side really at a rip roar. I was cooking around 500 degrees, had it locked in at a nice 500. Put on the chicken breast, set a timer for 12 minutes, flipped them over, another timer for 12 minutes. They all started peaking around 158. They're coming off the grill at that point. A little bit of a rest job, get them up to like 160, 162. I'm never trying to broach past 165 because remember, time and temp is where safety is first. Look, only sold through dealers, so find one near your primogrill.com and then visit them in person. Follow them on Facebook and Instagram. It is the Primo. It's my favorite cooker in the backyard right now. Period. Hands down. I love it long time. By the way, somebody else I love long time, Steven Raichlen. And we'll be back with him here in just one moment, so stick around. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show. Broadcasting live from the Barbecue Central Show studios in Cleveland, Ohio. You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
And we welcome you back here. This portion of the show being brought to you by Fireboard, makers of Fireboard 2, Fireboard Pro, Fireboard Spark, Fireboard Beacon, and the all-new wireless Fireboard Pulse. When you use the Fireboard app, you have total access to all devices anywhere in the world, as long as they are on your Wi-Fi network. Find out more by visiting fireboard.com or call 816-945-2232. I don't know if you can believe this or not, but Cracks Country Cooking weighing in. I have 5 cats. Jeez. I don't think anybody had more cats than I did, but Cracks Country Cooking has 5 cats. Anyway, my first guest tonight a icon in the industry, if not the icon in the industry, a host of TV shows, the creator of Barbecue University, James Beard award-winning author with some of the most important books that have been written in the live fire space, and a quarterly guest on this show for any number of years now. It's our pal Stephen Raichlen. Stephen, appreciate you joining us as always. We have a YouTube poll question of the week that we're asking everybody. I'm not sure where your expertise is going to be lying on this, but we'll ask you to take a stab anyway. Who's older? Quarterback of the Cleveland Browns, at least for week one, Joe Flacco, or Utah embedded correspondent of the Barbecue Central show, Rusty Monson?
I have no idea, but I'll take a guess and say it's Rusty.
All right, we'll go with Rusty. 30% of the YouTube voting public is aligning with a Stephen Raichlen, guessing that Rusty is the oldest one. We'll wait until the end of the show to reveal who is actually the oldest. My quarterback, Joe Flacco, seems to be running away with it at 70%, and we'll see where that goes. Anyway, how is the summer of 2025 treating a Stephen Raichlen?
Well, summer has been great. I'm here on Martha's Vineyard, which is always great. However, I am as busy as ever. I'm working on a new book that's due on October 1st. It's a change of pace. It's actually a memoir. And it's a very different sort of writing. And so a typical day for me begins about 4 o'clock in the morning because I have such a guilty conscience about the deadline. I can't seem to sleep much later than that. Right till noon, and then if it's a nice day, take off the rest of the afternoon and go to the beach.
In writing a memoir versus writing a barbecue trail cookbook of some sort, what goes in it and what stays out of it?
Well, the first thing that stays out of it are recipes, although we probably, by the time I'm done, there'll be some recipes in the book, but it's not a cookbook. What goes into it is trying to reconstruct my life and how this kid from Baltimore with a degree in French literature wound up in barbecue, which is kind of a crazy story. Give you some inside baseball in terms of how to make a TV show, how to write and publish a book. I give you the backstory on how some of the books came to be written, how the Barbecue Bible got its name, for example, why it has an exclamation mark in the cover. Background stuff, the family members who were influential either in helping my food writing career or making it so that I would go into food for self-defense. A lot of stuff, and you got to make it entertaining, and it's mostly prose. In a cookbook you sort of get to hide behind recipes sometimes.
Is this something that you're pitching to the editor, or are they coming back to you saying, hey, we would like a memoir of Stephen Raichlen at this point?
Well, it's a project that I wanted to do, and I've been working on it for a couple of years. I do have a publisher, God willing, if I make that October 1st deadline, it'll be out in the fall of 2026. I have to say, I'm pulling my hair, but it's also pretty fun when you're in that, when you're a writer and you hit your groove, there is nothing that feels better. The problem is to get to the groove is often a grueling process.
How long is this book going to take to write from start to finish?
Well, intense writing, let's say 6-7 months, but I've been thinking about it, for 2 years. So, I would say it's going to be a good 1.5, 2-year project.
One of the things that I saw you recently unboxing and then starting to fire up is, oddly enough, something called a Fire Grill, FYR. What can you tell me about that?
It is frigging awesome. It's a grill designed by Derek Wolf, who many of you know as the host and creator of Over the Fire Cooking. I got to know him on my Planet Barbecue TV show that we taped down in St. Louis. Actually, it was the Project Fire TV show, season 4. He came on my show called Influential Barbecue. I love the guy. He's great. He's really created a brand new medium. I mean, he's the gold standard for Instagram grilling, and he teamed up with a couple of other guys who have the experience to start companies and find venture capital money. The grill rocks, and it's funny because it's a really smart grill without one diode of smart electronics. I mean, it is back to basics. It's a charcoal and wood burning grill. Um, Designed to do just that, cook over fire. No thermometer probes, no smartphone connections, anything like that. Um, and the assembly is surprisingly easy. I mean, I did it in about a half an hour, but no fiddly screws or anything. It's really it's a smart grill that goes back to basics.
So if we haven't seen it before, is it more akin to a Weber style or a kettle style cooker, or is it more akin to a Santa Maria style or a Gaucho style cooker?
The answer is both.
Ah.
So it's basically a rectangular trough into which you put charcoal on very sturdy legs. They also designed a very cool chimney starter. But the grate is the trough is surmounted by a Santa Maria style mechanism, so you can raise and lower the grate. You can hang those beef tomahawks over the fire from the crossbar of the Santa Maria. It's a lot of thought went into it. I've kind of been watching it since the prototype stage, and the other thing is it's built, as my dad used to say, like a brick shit house. I mean, it's really solid.
Well, I guess getting your
And
endorsement.
it's interesting.
Yep.
Pardon me.
I was just going to say.
I was going to say it's interesting. Oh, okay. So, I've spent a lot of time traveling around Planet Barbecue, and I would say the grill that turns up in the most countries and cultures is something called a Mongol. And a Mongol is basically, it's like a giant metal shoebox. And many Mongols don't even have grates. You just cook the food on skewers or in grill baskets stretched across the top. And I think perhaps subconsciously that was the model for the fire grill.
Well, I think as somebody who has had their hands on perhaps thousands of grills over their cooking career, to get a vote of confidence from Stephen Reichlen's got to be pretty big for Derek. Do you think that not the everyday ham and egger that's out there cooking is looking to go back to a less technical cooker, but for the nerds like us, our little niche, maybe more my audience, do you think that this is a welcome change to see something that has way less tech, something you don't have to plug in, and that requires some type of fire management to get a good end product?
Definitely every technological advance has a Luddite or back to basics counterpart. And I think we are a very schizophrenic culture writ large, and we're a very schizophrenic group with grilling. And part of our group loves all the technology, being able to control your grill from your cell phone, et cetera, et cetera. And part of our group wants to get back to basics. But I think the success of Over the Fire Cooking, which I think has something like 7 million followers on Insta, says to me that there's still a very strong desire to do it basic.
I don't have a fire grill, but I have been really partial to using my Primo ceramic cooker than every other cooker this summer. And I've had it for going on 2 years, and it was used sparingly in the beginning, but for whatever reason, it's the one that I've used easily the most this summer. I used it yesterday, cooked some really great chicken breast, easy to fire up and stays hot. And there's just a lot of great extra flavor, a lot of different ways you can use to cook it. So I'm with you. I think getting back to a more primitive way of cooking, less technical, not primitive necessarily, is there.
I mean, primitive maybe has a pejorative association. Maybe primal is a better way.
Yeah,
but
right.
I mean, I cooked veal chops for dinner tonight, and I did it over charcoal. Let's just say there's room for both, and I think the existence of both schools of thought just make our field richer.
What seasonal dishes are you enjoying right now?
So up in Martha's Vineyard, Harpoon's swordfish has just come into season. Normally swordfish is caught with these on these very long lines, and the fish could actually be on the line 4 or 5 days, and then in the boat for another 4 or 5 days before it gets to the market.
Wow.
Harpoon, guy stabs it, that afternoon or the next morning, it's at the fish market. That is spectacular. We're also getting Gold Bud peaches. You know about Gold Bud peaches?
I don't.
Okay, well, Gold Bud peaches come from one specific orchard in California, and they are the best peaches you will ever taste. They average about $10 a peach. Um, but we are like totally addicted to them. So, been eating a lot of those lately. Uh, Also, Martha's Vineyard, now we're starting to get the first of the new potatoes. So my wife tonight made mashed potatoes with caramelized onions,
Mm.
which is not grilled, but I have to tell you, it's a fantastic accompaniment to grilled veal chops.
What's the one thing I should do if I visited Martha's Vineyard?
You should take the little 3-car ferry to Chappaquiddick and come over to Stephen Reichlen's house and hang out, and we'll cook you dinner.
All right, fair enough. I wasn't angling for that, but boy, were my fingers and toes crossed, so I got the answer I
would
wanted.
love it. No, seriously. You ever come, give a call. We'd love to see you here.
Barbecue University is only a few weeks away. It's going to be September 2nd through the 5th at Alisal Ranch. Are we sold out at this point, or are there a few smattering tickets left?
We have one space left as of yesterday.
Yep.
However, if anybody wants to come and they say they're a friend of Greg Rempe's, we'll squeeze them in. No, I'm really excited about that. This is going to be the 3rd year at the school, and Chris Lynch, who is our field chef for the TV shows, is coming to be my second in command. And the Alisal is beautiful. We've got 8 or 9 new grills coming in, including, talk about battle of the high tech. We've got some very high tech Weber grills coming in, and then we've got a fire grill coming in. So excited about that.
Griddle forward menu at the Barbecue University this year because of the book, or not so much?
Yeah. How'd you guess? No, I would say we will do a mix of grilling and griddling. I'd say it's probably going to be about 2/3 grilling, 1/3 griddling. But actually, if I may share some good news with you,
All right.
Yesterday CBS interviewed the book buyer for Amazon, and she named Project Griddle as her favorite book of cookbook of the spring.
Wow.
So that was pretty exciting. And what else? I had an interesting day yesterday. I've been a little bit on book tour, not as much as usual, but on Sunday I did a fundraiser in Fort Wayne, Indiana. And I'm going to tell you, Fort Wayne is a cool town, and the people are really nice. And then yesterday I was at the Weber headquarters, and I kind of did an event for Weber. They had a lot of social media influencers, and they are just going gangbusters. They are all in and then some on their griddles. I'm never going to say you should griddle and not grill, but the griddle makes a great adjunct to your grill collection. You have a griddle, right?
I have a Weber Slate, believe it or not.
Weber Slate. Well,
Yeah.
that's the gold standard.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I thought the best thing to happen to griddles was whatever it is they're applying to their griddle plate.
Yeah.
It's already seasoned. I didn't have to waste any money, time, gas on getting it burned in like some of the other competing products. It's just heated up and it's ready to go. I'm a big fan.
Yeah, that for one, and for two, it doesn't rust. It's really, I met the engineer that worked on that series yesterday, and it's kind of amazing how much thought goes into that. It's nice when grills are actually griddles are designed by people who actually cook on them.
Well, I saw in a social media post you did recently, you were introducing some steaks, but also sausages, and off on the right-hand side of the big gas grill that you were using, you had a temporary griddle that you were doing the sausages on. So you're doing both on one cooker.
Yeah, can I tell you, that has really become my new way of grilling, with a griddle on one side, the open fire on the other side. And it's great to go back and forth between the two. You start to burn something and go a little aggressive on the grill side, put it on the griddle. You're working on a fragile fish, like up here we get black bass or flounder. I think in your neck of the woods, you probably get pike and pickerel. And those are great on the griddle. Even salmon, salmon has a tendency to stick to the grill grate. Start it on the griddle. Once the bottom is seared, move it over the grill. Maybe have some wood chunks on the fire, a little smoke flavor. It's a very cool way to cook.
So you had mentioned how well that Project Griddle is doing. You got the bump on TV yesterday through the Amazon buyer. Is there a way, or has history shown to you that, over a certain period of time, no matter how successful the book is doing, it'll start to trend down a little bit?
Oh, of course. Peter Workman, the legendary founder of Workman Publishing, called it erosion. And I remember the first time he used the word with me, your book sales are going to erode. This was back when we were selling hundreds of thousands of copies of each title a year. And it was just like getting a bucket of ice water dumped on you. But of course, I'm really lucky. Like Barbecue Bible is still in print. Many of my grill books are still in print, but sadly, some of them have gone out of print. I think Planet Barbecue is only available as an ebook. Man-Made Meals is only available as an ebook. It's the nature of life.
So if there's a definitive erosion point, do you also see books unerode themselves for whatever reason? And when does that happen specifically?
Yeah, it's funny. Barbecue Bible, has chugged along for 28 years now. But when we had the 25th anniversary, which was 3 years ago, the sales, just started skyrocketing. A couple in Spain started the Barbecue Bible 500 Club for people who have vowed to cook all 537 recipes in the book. And you know what? 5 people have done it so far.
5 people.
We've got a lot of gold level. We got some silver level people. And we just hit 1,000 people on the Facebook page. So, for your listeners and viewers, if you haven't done that yet, check out the Barbecue Bible 500 Club page. It's really fun.
Labor Day also quickly approaching. Any menu items that are either standby for Reichlen's household or something new you might be giving a whirl this time around?
Well, we're probably going to keep it pretty labor-light because I'm going to be actually on Labor Day. I'm flying out to the Alisal. The day before that, probably hot dogs and sauerkraut and buttered buns on the plancha, and keep it simple.
How often are you eating turkey throughout the year?
That's a really good question. Our kids were up and visiting us a couple of weeks ago, and I got a couple turkey breasts. I brined them, I smoked them. They made a great lunch. So I would say, we don't even eat it as often as we should, but 3-4 times a year outside of Thanksgiving.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's 3 or 4 more times than I'm doing it. Every year at Thanksgiving or when Thanksgiving ends, I say, this is so good. This is the year that we're going to add it into the regular routine, and then it's just out of sight, out of mind, and all these other options are tickling my fancy, and turkey gets left out again. But in 2026, I'm really going to try.
Well, you know what? I'm going to put a little note in my calendar to remind you. Come next May or June. Tell you what, we'll both buy turkey breasts, and then we'll do a little dueling turkey breast thing. Turkey breast is great because you smoke it, you can slice it for 3 or 4 days, then you can freeze it and come back to it.
All right, last question before I let you go, and I didn't think this was going to be a recurring question over the last number of months, but it was such a revelation the first time I asked it. Have you ever heard of the band Winger before?
I have not.
All right. I don't know.
I'll ask you a counter question.
Yes.
Were you a Jefferson Airplane fan? Because I have been listening to After Bathing at Baxter's nonstop. That album came out, let's say, when I was in 8th grade, and it changed my life.
So, in fairness, before my time, however, being a music fan as I am, of course, I know Jefferson Airplane, Jefferson Starship, all the versions of Jefferson, whatever. Grace Slick, Mickey Thomas.
They lost it with Jefferson. Now they lost it with Bark. Was that their first 4 albums were fantastic.
Yeah.
Bark. The only cool thing about the album Bark is they have a line that goes, "Crazy Amanda lived on propaganda," and whenever I talk to somebody who's named Amanda, I remind them of that line. And look, when you're on the phone with customer service. If you can make like some little personal connection, it just goes
Sure.
easier for everybody.
Look, if you are going to find yourself out at the Alisal Ranch, or you want to get out there and you want to take the Barbecue University class, you got a spot left. Or if you know me and you mention it to Stephen, then you're probably going to get in as well. BarbecueBible.com is his website, of course, and you can see him here once a quarter. Stephen, always appreciate the time, and we will see you in 3 months.
Fantastic. Really enjoy it. Grill on, everybody.
There he is. Stephen Raichlen right there, getting ready for yet another edition of Barbecue University, again at the Alisal Ranch out there in California. I did a little deep dive on the ranch itself, so if you're not just going to be cooking, because you're not just going to be cooking out there, a lot of really cool rustic things to do out there. The rooms look amazing. So if you're into that kind of thing, check it out. Got some time left. You can book a ticket and get out there. Then report back to me how you liked it. All right, our pal Wes Wright is ready to go. And we'll get to him here in just 1 second. Stick around. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show. Howard Stern, Jim Rome, Dan Patrick, and Greg Rempe. The Mountain Rushmore of talk show entertainment. Now, let's get back to the Barbecue Central Show.
And we welcome you back. We thank Stephen Raichlen for joining us last segment. This portion of the show being brought to you by Pit Barrel Cooker, the most unbelievable outdoor cooking device on the planet. Available in 3 sizes, a host of accessories. Go to pitbarrel.com and tell them the Barbecue Central Show sent you. Dennis Busso, unofficially official embedded correspondent from Colorado, is saying that the Alisal Ranch rooms are great. So he has been there and done that. Dennis has been to every Barbecue University location, I believe. Maybe even the only one that's ever done it. Hey, my next guest runs the cookoutnews.com website, and he is here for his monthly visit. You know him as my pal, Wes Wright. Hey, Wes.
Hey, Greg. How's it going?
Absolutely great. And we have a YouTube poll question of the week that we're asking everybody. So we'll ask you, who's older? Cleveland Browns starting quarterback for week 1, Joe Flacco, or Utah embedded correspondent, Rusty Monson?
I think probably Rusty's older than Joe. Right?
Rusty, all right. So Rusty is currently getting 44% of the vote, and Joe was running away with it at 70-30 as we started Stephen Reichlin's segment, but that's starting to claw back more to 50-50. Wes, if I might, I don't believe your microphone is picking up. I believe I'm getting the computer mic.
Is it?
Are you able to do a reconnect by chance?
Yep, let me do a reconnect. Sorry about that.
Reconnect. First time Wes has ever had to do a reconnect. Do that.
Is that working?
Let's hear it again.
Oh,
sorry.
It's
not plugged in, is it?
It's plugged in. Can you hear it? Is it sound? Is it working?
It sounds weird. Can you tap the mic? Yeah, it's not picking up for some reason. Were you actually doing real work on that computer?
Is it? How about now?
No, same.
It doesn't. It's not. It's not letting me. Sorry about this, Greg.
If you go, you're a Windows guy, right?
I am, yeah.
Yeah, right, like a real human. If you go into sound settings and you go to your input, choose your Samsung Q2U, and then do the reconnect after that. And then we should be dynamite.
Okay, let's see.
Probably doing some real official work, and something screwed your settings.
Yeah. right, I selected it, and let's see now.
Let's do the
see if it'll
reconnect.
let me-
Here we go. 3, 2, 1.
Yes, no?
No, that's all right.
I can redo the whole thing if you can. You want to talk about Joe Flacco over Shadir?
I mean, I don't even know there's anything to talk about, right? I mean, I think Joe Flacco gives us the best week one chance of winning. I don't think you're going to drop in a Shadur Sanders in week one and expect anything other than let's hope he's not throwing 48 interceptions, because preseason snaps feel and look different than real season snaps. Joe Flacco has any number of seasons of, real snaps underneath his belt. 2 years ago, he was the guy that led us to the promised land of the playoffs. I think we even got a win or two in the playoffs when he was our quarterback before we let him go the following year. So I'm not against the Joe Flacco running first half of the season or first 4 or 5 games. As somebody said on local sports radio today, Joe Flacco is starting, and he's just going to be the first guy that's benched in order to put in either Dylan Gabriel or Shadur Sanders. And the Cleveland Browns have 5 quarterbacks at this point. So and by the way, don't forget, we do have the creep also on the team. Deshaun Watson is still a member of the team. He has released any number of social media posts over the last couple months reminding everybody that he's still on the team, and he's really working hard to get back to show everybody that what he has given us after we've given him like $250 million worth of guaranteed money, that he's really a great quarterback still, and that he's going to somehow reprise his excellence that he flashed when he was down in, was it Houston or wherever the hell he was at, while he was also being sexually promiscuous with a bunch of messieurs. So I don't know. We'll see how this season works out. I would rather be a Detroit fan, if I'm being honest, but I can't break away from Cleveland. So, are you there, Wes? Wes has left the building.
Get that big stuff out of here.
Wes is like, get me a brand new computer on the double 86 this one. I would have done the interview anyway, Wes. I got enough hate mail for doing one extended cigar segment with Mr. Jonathan last week. And by the way, in the instant chat, I don't see... You there, Wes? Still no Wes. I don't see Jason King in the chat room this week. He quit the show. He was back.
Get that big stuff out of here.
He was gone for months, and then he showed up last week, and he was like, wait, no barbecue content? And I'm like, if you were only here for the hour before the show and saw everybody evacuating out of their guest spots like you couldn't believe. It was tragic, to say the least. What happened to Wes? This is crazy. He was here and he's gone. By the way, I did have an engaging conversation with Stephen Raichlen, highly engaging, by the way. But I had these ready to go. Pod decks. Would you rather? And what the heck? So I had the items that I was looking to cover with Stephen jotted down in my outline. But then I also have 4 or 5 pod deck questions. You there, Wes?
Not in a good way.
Not in a good way. That's fine. That's fine. Don't do anything. I can only fill time with Shadur Sanders and Joe Flacco take when I don't even know what I'm really talking about, other than I would rather be a Detroit Lions fan at this point than be a Cleveland Browns fan, at least for the next couple of years. So we have some barbecue and grilling news. And this is maybe on the fringe of that, but it's also right in the middle of it, which is Frigidaire, like the appliance maker, is looking to get into the pizza game in a way, aren't they?
Yeah, they released an oven that has a pizza stone in the top shelf that'll get to 750 degrees. They built like a carrier around it that's out of stainless steel that locks that heat in. So it does, a whole bunch of different functions, including like air frying, but also, I mean, the main thing is it'll heat a pizza stone to 750 degrees, which is like on par with a good pizza oven outside.
Do you need to have a good vent over this oven if you're going to be putting it in place?
They claim that they did a bunch of testing and got it approved by whoever that governing body is, and it's just a standard, it's a standard thing. You don't do anything special with it.
So coincidentally, I had my Green Mountain Grill pellet cooker running on Sunday, and we decided to do, individual pizzas. So we go get the dough balls, 8 ounce dough balls. Yeah, because they're a pound a piece. And then everybody gets to make their own pizza. So I put it on the Green Mountain Grill. Now, I understand that as it heats up and as it's cooking, it's burning pellets. So there is smoke that is being released through the chimney stack. Like, I get that. But also, like, when I'm launching the pizza in there, I use a little bit of, what the hell is it? I want to say semolina, but it's not cornmeal to act as my ball bearings and then launch the pizza onto the pizza stone. Inevitably, that burns and that really smokes and really stinks. So I guess that's where the hood question is coming, not necessarily like can the oven vent itself, but as I'm throwing pizza on there or a piece of pepperoni or sausage gets tossed off the pie and onto the stone, now we have a smoky situation.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I was thinking the straight heat because that's pretty hot inside of an oven, next to cabinets. But that's a good point. I mean, it does get smoky when you make them. I mean, I guess it's on par with anything else that you could burn in your oven, but it's probably a good idea to have a vent set up just in general.
Price point on this thing?
So they listed the MSRP of like $2,600, and they just released it right now, but it's actually like they're selling it for $1,800 at Home Depot on their own website and stuff like that. So, like,
what's the deal with that?
I don't know. I don't know why you would do that. I don't know why you would put it out in MSRP and then the day you release it, have a completely different price. But I mean, what's interesting about that price point is some of the indoor electric ovens, like the Uni, which is a 12-inch oven, and the Frigidaire will handle a 14-inch pizza. The Uni is like $8.99, so you're halfway there to the price of a whole oven. So I'm just curious, as people redo their kitchens, if that takes a bite out of that share.
Did it say anywhere in the article that this pizza oven portion of it is taking away from the normal capacity of the oven part?
No, they didn't say anything about that because you can pull it out and use it just like normal too. So,
you gonna buy one?
I don't need another oven. If I was in the market for an oven, I'd look at it.
Yeah.
If they want to send me one, Frigidaire, go for it. I'll try it out.
Do they make a 36-inch model or only 30?
I only saw a 30.
I got 36-inch cut in mine.
Wow,
so.
you got a nicer oven than me. Look
yeah,
at you.
well, the guy that built the house before did everything, over and above. Except the house that he moved into, I had been through that house, and I knew that one only had a 30-inch cut. So I really jobbed them up on, lowballing them. I was like, well, go ahead and take it. I don't even want it. I'm going to buy a Wolf and this and that and the other thing. And he's like, well, I don't really want to take it with me. And I said, just take it with you. I don't even want it. He's like, well, make me an offer. So I lowballed the shit out of him. It was like a KitchenAid professional oven thing.
Nice.
So it's really nice. He barely used it. I mean, bachelor guy, never cooked for anything. Was probably just trying to get laid all the time and didn't care to cook or anything. But he did a great job with the build of the house and everything like that. So we benefited, certainly. Ace had their big retailer show or vendor show, whatever the hell it is you call it, out in Chicago. Did you go to that by any chance?
I didn't go to it. I talked to some people about it that went, but I personally didn't attend. But it's their hardware show where they get all their retailers, bring out a bunch of vendors on a conference floor, and they also set up like an Ace store inside of it, so you could see better ways to merchandise your store. And they have a new they call it Elevate 3. It's like their new way of displaying, I focus on grill products and stuff like that within their stores that they say is better. Because I mean, I don't know about you, but like the Aces by Me, you go in and it's just like an area littered with grills, kind of, right? So they have like a newer way to display them so that people, get their questions answered and understand what they're looking at and can play with them.
Should we go to that show?
I've thought about it. I don't know what you have to do to attend.
I think I just got to make a phone call, right?
Yeah, I would think so. I know some people that could probably get me in, but I don't know what like media support they have or anything like that.
You want to go next year? I'll make plans.
I think it's in Louisville, so yeah, sure.
It is?
Go. I didn't know it was going to be in Chicago. Otherwise, I would have thought about going because that's pretty close to me.
Yeah. Well, Louisville is about the same drive for me, at least. That's 5.5, 6 hours.
Yeah, a little longer. It's Chicago. I can get there in under 4.
Yeah, of course. You're a little closer.
Yeah.
Well, I know. So we got Hey Grill Hey coming on next hour for their quarterly visit. So I know they were over a day, so I can pick their brain a little bit about it. But I know I've known Craig Hansen for quite a long time, just through email exchanges. I met him in person one time back when I was at the I Am Barbecue conference when MBBQA was doing that kind of thing down in Fort Worth. So maybe that's something that we can talk about offline about putting together. One more thing before I let you go, and apologize for kind of cutting it short here as I was talking about my beloved Browns and our quarterback misery. Do It Best and True Value are adding Broil King and Napoleon to their grilling lineup. So there's no two people in this country that have hyped the widely unknown Broil King brand more than you and me, Wes, over the last 2 or 3 years. I think Napoleon is way more well known than the Broil King. So how much do you think that this move jumps Broil King to the name recognition pool along with the other big names?
I think it helps for sure. It's more distribution. And 2, I think some of it's a result of, I believe Weber said they're going to be exclusive to Ace, so they're not going to go through True Value and Do It Best anymore. So this is a good replacement. So I would think they get more traction on the floor with Weber gone, which, should help them from where they're at.
What deal does Broil King and Napoleon have to strike in order to get this deal?
They probably have to pay a pretty good chunk of margin, which they're used to. They go through like independent dealers anyways. So it's probably just a chunk of their margin that gets sent to them.
Would this be better if it was pulling through Lowe's or Home Depot?
You would need a lot more volume. It's really hard to get into Lowe's or Home Depot, but I mean, if you could do it, it just changes a little bit because Broil King and Napoleon kind of position themselves as that. I know they have some cheaper models, but they're kind of that upper echelon of brands where that's harder to do at Home Depot, where, you're selling to Home Depot at a much cheaper price and they're taking a good cut and you need a lot of volume.
ThermoWorks has introduced a whatever mid-priced thermometer means. It's called the Sizzle. What do we like?
I think it's a good price point. The ThermaPen and ThermaPen 1 both are a little pricey for some people. They're getting a little crowded with their lineup, but the Sizzle is like $59, I want to say, and it's got a lot of what the ThermaPen has, just a little bit cheaper. They also have a ThermoPop, which is like $30, and I use that quite a bit too.
I mean, just between us gals, $59, you're not going to spend $20 more and get a ThermaPen. Like if it was $159 ThermaPen, and then the mid-tier price is $60 like the Sizzle, I think this makes a little bit more sense. I don't know if I'm not pulling the trigger if I got to spend $20 more. I think the delta between ThermoPop and ThermaPen is probably the sweet spot. I don't know if, like you said, you're kind of crowding up the portfolio at this point. I don't know if there's a need for a $60 ThermoWorks product.
Yeah, I think for some people it's a mental thing. Like the Thermopen 1 is, I believe it's over 100, so it's hard to mentally break that threshold. Yeah, I don't know. With anything though you buy though, you're like, oh, I could spend a little more and get this, and they're like, yeah, but then I could spend a little more than that and get this.
Yeah.
So I think they just want one, in every like price tier, which makes sense if they can sell them to people that aren't ready to pull the trigger on a full Thermopen.
All right, Wes, last question. Gotta ask. Have you ever heard of the band Winger before?
It's an odd question, but I have.
Yeah.
Wow. Beavis and Butthead used to make fun of them. I was a Beavis and Butthead from like the mid '90s fan, so they would make fun of them. They also, I don't know if you listened to the song 17, but
I have heard of Winger. Like I thought everybody heard of Winger, and then when I did the embedded correspondence, now almost a month ago, so I had a fill-in of Sam the Cooking Guy. I'd never heard of Winger. Rashid Phillips filled in, never heard of Winger, and then John Solberg and Matt Osmond never heard of the band Winger before. It blew my mind. And then the week before that, I had asked Jess Pryles for our little game that we do at the end of our segments every time, like which Winger song is the better one, and she's like, mate, I don't even know the band Winger. And
really?
I was like, what do you mean? Like they're one of the classic hair metal bands. Yeah. They were huge. What are we talking about? Yeah. So to have success of a week, Steven Reichlen's never heard of the band Winger before. Yeah. So I'm asking everybody tonight, as we exit interviews, where the Winger knowledge is. So at least my pal Wes Wright has some visibility on where Winger is. And of course, the sexual impropriety song of 17, which really is top notch. So Wes, always appreciate the time. Go check out Wes at cookoutnews.com, and we will see you in September, pal.
Thanks, Greg. We'll have to check out Winger when we go.
All right, let's do it. Winger will be tour. I mean, can you imagine if somehow Winger is on tour and we're going to the A show and they're playing Freedom Hall across from the International Exposition Center out there in Louisville? Oh, I mean, what are the chances of that happening besides 0.0? But I can hope. All right, let's go ahead, and Dennis Busso has heard of the band Winger before. Good for you, Dennis. You can continue to be the embedded correspondent from Colorado. All right, let's go ahead and get back on the clock here as we make an exit for the second hour. You stick around, and we'll be right back.
You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show. Continuing to produce incredibly mediocre content in an exceptionally professional way. You're listening and watching the Barbecue Central Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
All right, welcome back. We thank Wes Wright for joining us last segment, cookoutnews.com. I got a cat off to the left of me here. Beat it. Beat it. And it's not Stan the Man either. It's the other one, who may or may not have relieved himself on some of my most expensive electronics. Right? Yeah, just look at me like you want to suffocate me. All right. Anyway, make sure you're checking out Wes's website, cookoutnews.com, for all the latest happenings in the barbecue and grilling world. We did not get to the grill fighter question, the grill fighter grill brush question. Look, if you're a retailer looking to take on what could be the best grill brush out there, and I say this completely uncompensated, just a fan of the product, Marvin Weinberger is looking to sell just the brush. And the price point, way more attractive than it was initially when he was a guest on the show. So if you're interested, if you have a barbecue supply store and you're looking for a next tier or next level brush, let me know. I can make an intro. All right, we're heading to the second hour. You're listening and watching the Barbecue Central Show right here on the Barbecue Central Network. Stick around. We'll be right back.